What was your first gig that you had where you were like, yo, it's about to happen? Like, what was your first gig?
My first gig was with my brother, Catfish, who was 8 years older than I, and I wanted to be just like him. You know, I wanted to play guitar. You know, so I started messing around with guitar. You know, while he was off delivering papers, I would sneak his guitar and practice. You know, stuff I would hear from down the hall, across the way. You know, you just kind of hear stuff and you start trying to play it.
You played in church growing up?
Yeah, that's where I started. That's the first thing I started in. And they needed a bass player, but I didn't play bass, I played guitar. And so they hired me as a bass player, and I played bass on guitar.
That's dope. And so then from there, like, what was your first like professional gig?
Professional gig had to be over at King Records, because the A&R guy came to hear our band. We had like 3 pieces. It was me and my brother and a drummer. And we was pretty hot, you know, hot and cocky because we knew we was hot, you know. And we had that young thing going on, you know how it is. And so we would go around and take people's gigs, you know, like it was a thing called sitting in, you know, where, you know, musicians would come in, they have their guitars or horns out, and everybody knew what that meant. It meant, you know, yeah, we're gonna take it to the stage, you know. And our whole thing was taking it to the stage and taking the person's gig, you know, because that's what it was all about, you know. And where I lived, you know, in the Midwest, it was a lot of us doing, you know, because a lot of people say, well, why was the Midwest so funky?
Yeah, why was the Midwest so funky?
It was the pee in the river.
What do you mean the pee in the river? Like the pee in the river?
It was the pee in the river, yeah.
Y'all was peeing in the river?
We was swimming in the river.
Y'all was swimming in pee water?
Yeah.
No, like for real, like I always wonder, like why did the Midwest have all that funky group?
Don't wonder no more. It's the pee in the river. You know, all the motherfuckers was swimming in the river. You know.
Wow, that was the last thing I would have thought it was. So like, but was it highly competitive? Like, cause
oh man, but it was a good kind of thing because it made everybody better. You know, it wasn't a negative, you know, kind of you know, competition. It was like everybody knew, you know, everybody had the same vibe. You know, it's like I'm gonna take your gig, you know. And that whole thing was, it wasn't a fighting kind of thing. It was like everybody knew what it was. You know, I'm coming to sit in, you know, so it was like, you know, you couldn't say no because that means you punking out. You know, you had to go with it. If you see us coming in, it's like, oh, shoot, man, these moms, kind of, you know, and then it'd be kind of a downer. But at the same time, you know, we have to get up there and show out. You know, so it kind of pushed everybody to be their best. You know, Roger Troutman, them, Zap, Slave, you know.
Slave?
Ohio players.
Y'all come from the same, like,
the
town?
Same area. We all did the same gigs.
Slave.
Yeah, we all. Heat Wave. I mean, all these mugs.
Wow.
Sun. You know, we all come from that same area, so we had to play all the same gigs, you know? And so it was just a bunch of us, and it was fun because it was a lot of clubs to play.
Who out of all the people you named, who were the ones that you were like, okay, I gotta watch out for them, and I gotta step up?
Ohio players.
Real shit?
I mean, them boys was the baddest boys I ever seen in my life live. You know, of course, the original Ohio players changed once they started getting a record deal. So when they got a record deal, to me, it changed their whole, their whole thing, because they had a killer show. This is when Dutch Robertson was the lead singer. Sugarfoot was mainly playing guitar. Marshall was playing bass. And we was friends, because they were our heroes. We looked up to them and we wanted to be as good as they were, because when we came in with them, it was like, we know we couldn't touch them yet, but
you said yet.
Yeah, not yet, but the goal, was to be able to, outdo them too, and then we did a gig together. And that's when, like the people knew more about the Ohio Players than they knew about us, the house guests, but when we did the show together, this very last time, the last time we did before they got real hot, we killed them. And everybody knew it. They knew it, and then, that's when they had first got Johnny Morrison.
So when you say you killed them,
we wore the set out.
But did you go and write songs for the gig?
No, it wasn't writing. It was like we already had songs that we were doing. This was an everyday thing with us. We had the band hitting it, rehearsing, gigging.
How many days a week did y'all rehearse?
7. Oh, rehearsing?
Yeah.
5 days a week. And we made it up to having about 4 to 6 gigs a week.
Y'all were rehearsing 5 days a week and you had 4 to 6 gigs a week.
It was we had to do that. We had, in our minds, it wasn't nothing else to do. It was like when you started working, and this music just took over you, what else you gonna do? When you really think about it, we was getting loaded, riding around looking for chicks. You'd have like an hour to do that mess, because after that, you got to come to rehearsal.